Hi everyone, welcome to this series of CLAT previous year papers. Today we are going to look at an important set from CLAT 2024 from Quantitative Techniques section. Let's read the passage and then solve the questions based on this passage. Automobiles are the most preferred mode of transport because they allow us to cover large distance quickly. Resultantly, vehicles have been developed that run on diesel, petrol, and even on electricity, which is a remarkable innovative development. During a survey about the percentage-wise distribution of cars in 4 different states, the information regarding ratio between the diesel engine cars, petrol engine cars, and electric cars was collected. Total number of cars for which data was collected was 8,000. Of these, State 1 had 15% of total cars in the ratio of 3:4:1. Sequence is diesel, petrol to electric. State 2 had 20% of total cars in the ratio of 5:3:2. State 3 had 30% of total cars in the ratio of 4:5:3. And State 4 had 35% of total cars in the ratio of 7:5:2. So using all these important values given in the passage, we can create a table showing total number of cars in state 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then showing in next column number of diesel cars, petrol cars and electric cars in these 4 states using all the percentage and ratio values given in the passage. So let's create the table. Table shows state 1, 2, 3 and 4 in 4 rows and total number of cars, diesel cars, petrol cars and electric cars in these 4 states. So let's look at the values. Total number of cars was 8,000. State 1 had 15% of total cars. So 15% of 8,000. How we should calculate it? 10% of 8,000 is 800. 5% is half of 800, that is 400. So 10% plus 15% is 800 plus 400, that is 1200. Then for state 2, 20% of total cars. 20% of 8,000, 10% is 800, 20% is double of that, which is equal to 1600. State 3 had 30% of total cars. 800 is 10%, 30% is thrice of 800, that is 2400. And State 4 had 35% of total. 30% is 2400, 5% is 400, so 2400 plus 400 is 2800. Now let's use the values of ratios given for these states to find out number of diesel, petrol and electric cars. We will be using parts method. So if we look at state 1, total number of parts is 3:4:1. 3 plus 4, 7, 7 plus 1, 8. And total vehicles are 1200. So 1200 to be divided in 8 parts. So 1200 divided by 8 parts will give us the value of 1 part. 1200 divided by 8 will be equal to 120 by 8 is 15. So 1200 by 8 is 150. So value of 1 part is equal to 150. Value of 3 part will be equal to 150 into 3, that is 450. 150 into 4 is 600 and 150 into 1 is 150. For state 2, this ratio is 5:3:2. So 5 plus 3, 8, 8 plus 2, 10. 1600 divided by 10 is 160. So value of 1 part is 160. 160 into 5 is 800. 160 into 3 is 480. And 160 into 2 is 320. For state 3, the ratio is 4:5:3. 4 plus 5, 9. 9 plus 3, 12. 2400 divided by 12 is 200. 200 into 4 is 800. 200 into 5 is 1000. 200 into 3 is 600. Lastly, 7 plus 5, 12. 12 plus 2, 14. 2800 divided by 14. 1 part is 200. So 200 into 7 is 1400. 200 into 5 is 1000. 200 into 2 is 400. So now we have got all the values. How many total vehicles, how many diesel vehicles, how many petrol vehicles, how many electric vehicles are there in state 1, 2, 3 and 4. That data we have now. So using this table, we can easily answer all the questions now. Let's look at this question. if 45% of the electric cars in state 4 are air conditioned and remaining are non-AC, what is the number of non-AC cars? If we look at the table, electric cars in state 4 is equal to 400. There are 400 electric cars in state 4 and 45% of them are air conditioned. If 45% of these are air conditioned, total is 100%. So 100% minus 45% is 55%. Means non-AC cars in state 4, non-AC electric cars will be equal to 100% minus 45%. That is 55% of total electric cars in state 4. So 55% of 400, which comes out to be 55 into 4, which is equal to 220. So the correct answer should be option C. Let's look at this question. Number of petrol cars in state 2 is how much percentage more than the number of diesel cars in state 1? Number of petrol cars in state 2 is 480 from the table, and diesel cars in state 1 is 450. So 480 is how much percentage more? Percentage more means percentage increase. So percentage increase is calculated by taking the difference between two values. 480 minus 450 is 30 divided by smaller value multiplied by 100. 30 upon 450 into 100. So 3 by 45 is 1 upon 15. 100 divided by 15 is 6.66 recurring percent. So from the option we can choose option D, approximately 6.67%. Let's look at this question. What is the ratio of diesel cars in state 4 to electric cars in state 3? Diesel cars in state 4 is 1400 and electric cars in state 3 is 1600. So required ratio is 1400 is to 1600, which is 14 is to 6. 2 into 7 is 14, 2 into 3 is 6. So the required ratio is 7 is to 3. Correct answer is option D. Let's look at this question. Compute the percentage of total electric cars to total cars in all the states. Total of electric cars, if we do the total of electric cars, this comes out to be 1470. And total number of cars in all the states is 8000. So 1470 is how much percent of 8000 is the question. So if we cancel out all the zeros, 147 divided by 8. So 8 into 1 is 8. Remainder is 6, 67. 8 into 8 is 64. Remainder is 3, that is 30. 8 into 3 is 24. Remainder is 6. So 8 into 7. So from the option we can see that option B should be our correct answer, 18.37%. Correct answer is option B. Let's look at this question. What is the difference between number of petrol cars in state 3 and diesel cars in state 1? Petrol cars in state 3 is 1000 and diesel cars in state 1 is 450. So difference between 1000 and 450 is to be found out. 1000 minus 450 is equal to 550. So correct answer is option D. Let's look at this question. What is the average number of diesel cars in all the states? So we need to find out total number of diesel cars in all the states. So this total comes out to be 3450. And since there are 4 states, this total needs to be divided by 4 to get the required average. So 4 into 8 is 32. Remainder is 2, so 25. 4 into 6 is 24, so remainder is 1. We get 10. 4 into 2 is 8. We get 2. So 4 into 5 is 20. So 862.5 should be the correct average. Correct answer is option B. Thank you everyone. Keep watching this important YouTube channel of Get Set Law to learn from more such videos. Thank you.